Zombie technology from the dark age of technology. The first example of tech is so heretical that the primarch of the ironhands, ferrus manus himself, put it beyond the reach of his sons. Then we will look at a heretical magos who can raise hordes of the undead. Knowledge of this technology was very limited. The ironhands, the master of mankind, and that's about it. This suite of technology, the keys of hell, has within it cybernetic resurrection. It can create a gola, a facsimile of life. Memories are kept and they can talk, but they lose something of themselves each time they come back. I've walked through those gates and now I step between stolen moments amongst the living. I walk with fire, pain and hatred for all that was wrought and for all that has been lost. They sleep till they wake for battle. It's not a great time like setting your alarm an hour too early. Here is an example of that. Athantos stepped free. The deck rang under his tread, pistons surging in place of muscle. His weapons shed their casings of ice as they armed. He stood for a moment, his joints breathing steam, his servos clicking, and they become slower as this repeats, due to the damage from each fall, or perhaps because of what's left of their bodies each time can't function as it normally physically can. Connections snap into place, down my spine, pain flashes along nerves and cables. My limbs become my own, dead flesh and machine, answering with icy snarls. I step forward, ice falls from me in brittle scales. Pistons extend and snap my limbs into place. Energy crackles along conduits and I hear iron fingers flex. The pain is everything. Every sensation is a colour of agony. I am a stolen life from the dark and live in oblivion. I walk from my tomb, and behind me my brothers wake from their own sleep and follow me to war. One Gola thinks this tech was created by man in the dark age of technology, or by alien hands under cruel suns, as the quote tells it. I think that if it was Xenos in origin, then humanity has put their own spin on it since then, taking it and remaking it for their own uses. Now, this isn't the only tech of its type from this time period. There is also the Sarkosan wave generator. It has another title of the Anima chorus. This device is of course considered heretical by those in M40. It can reanimate dead tissue and give life back to those who should be dead. The tech itself is used in various forms. It can be implanted into the body by a Mechanicus tech priest when they are flirting with tech heresy. And then at the other end of the scale, where massive tech facilities must be set up and powered by many plasma reactors to bring a whole horde to life, as a heretic will use this device to revive those who have fallen or extend their own lives with it so they can live on indefinitely. The best example of the device being used was by the imperial cult. This group was known as the Brethren of the Risen. Post the age of apostasy, the cult used the device to raise armies of the dead, saying they fight in the emperor's name. This all took place in the Segmentum Obscurus. This cult was ended by agents working for the Imperium, and they were utterly wiped out. However, the tech itself was rediscovered and widely distributed by a renegade archmagos, Umbra Malis. When the device is powered up, it uses energy that is probably warp in origin. It gets into the skin, bone and materials in the area to revive anyone whose body is mostly intact. They are not exactly sound of mind and are able to follow commands, especially complex ones. So a device and enhancer can be fitted before they get back up, so a measure of control can be had over them. If you go to all that effort to bring them back, you'd want to be able to deploy them tactically. And interestingly, though you can't see this energy, you can hear it. The device makes a noise like a zombie moaning, thus the name Anima chorus. Now, when it's used, unlike the first device we examined, those who are brought back retain their minds, the personality they had before. The difference is, where their soul had been, there is only an empty darkness. In addition, the wave gives those revived greater strength and resilience to damage, and when that device stops working, they go back to how they were before, stone cold dead. I've seen a few mentions to a device that can be used in the same sort of healing way for a vehicle, bringing it back in terms of the damage done to it, but couldn't find the excerpt, but wanted to mention it anyway. Umbra Malis, the rebel archmagos, played a key role in this. He fell into tech heresy. Cults tried to woo him, but he walked his own path. He unleashed on the Imperium viral warfare and AI, and he also found the wave generator. But his run of heretical tech failed when inquisitors and tech priests hunted him down. His legacy is hidden away in an altar called Genocide, and is still looked for across the Calixis sector. Another device lets you have a chat to the dead. A Speculum Umbra is an intricate crystalline device, a piece of barely understood archaeotech infused with warp knowledge, a great risk to the soul. It is possible to summon shades of the dead via the dark arts of the Anima Mori. Heretics of the Empiric Engineers use the Speculum Umbra device to achieve this end. When active, the speculum crackles with energy as it draws forth visions of madness and dead souls formed from particles of warp matter. The sane heretic employs immaterial wards and servitor-labour proxies to avoid direct exposure. Interestingly, Empiric Engineers assert that the Imperium records echoes of tormented death throes and the mind that made them. Now, how could cyber resurrection have been used in the dark age of technology? Its most likely origin point. It could have helped humanity fight the Men of Iron, for example, or other Xenos troops. The fallen bodies that are recoverable could have been sent back into action, back into the front line, as if you're on some sort of unending service in the Imperial Guard. And if you use the Men of Stone, who seem to be advanced in the style of the Mechanicus, part flesh, part cyber, but more powerful. If the scale from the war generator is correct and many can be brought back in an instant, they could fight like zombies who don't even need brains to fight. Maybe some type of nanotech empowered to keep them going each time they fail is used in some of these devices. I can only speculate. On a more personal level, it could be used to keep someone important alive, say a military leader past his natural lifespan, though I'd question the effectiveness of that over multiple resurrections. And what about souls? When one of these zombie bodies is brought back, are they what they once were? It likely depends on the timing, how long the body is out of action for. When you die in 40k, your soul goes into the warp, where it can meet a number of fates. The two main ones: if you're a shiny psychic soul, you'll be eaten by demons. Many, though, are absorbed into the larger soup of soul energy in the warp, losing that sense of self and becoming one with the afterlife, or at least what counts for it. I think a lot of the bodies will not have a soul, but I don't think you need one really to exist in the materium. Provided the body functions and the mind can be there, I think you'd be okay. As we covered, you can still be you, albeit a degraded version of yourself, a V3 or 4. That would account for the state some of these zombies get in where they don't feel like they are themselves anymore. Or maybe each time the device reached into the warp and pulls back what remains of the soul, as it's slowly getting eaten or becoming one with the larger whole. It's less and less each time. Imagine ink in water, the ink being your soul, and the device grabs what is left there, what it can from the water each time. It's going to be more spread out, more sparse, and less concentrated in vitality. And if you like this video on the Dark Age of Technology, why not try this one too?